In today's video, I'll be doing a summary of chapters 5 and 6 of second class citizen. I would also be asking about 5 questions, about 6 actually questions on second class on chapters 5 and chapter 6. Chapter 5 is titled An Expensive Lesson. So in chapter 5, the narrator tells us that Ada wakes up feeling very tired and reluctant to go out or to send her children to Trudy, the daily minder, who takes care of the children when she's at work. But she realizes that Francis would accuse her of being lazy. So she reluctantly tries to prepare herself for work and at the same time prepare the children, Titi and Vicky. The full name for Vicky is Victor. Her second child is a boy, while Titi is a girl. In the course of preparing herself for work and putting the children together that morning, the clatter of plates wakes Francis up. Francis is very upset and demands to know why he will not be allowed to have a good sleep. Ada seizes that opportunity to plead with Francis to take the children through this place because she is already running late for work. Francis reluctantly agrees to help her with this. When Ada gets to her place of work, we are told by the narrator, we also need to understand that Francis does really nothing around the house. Francis does not cater for his family in any way. The only thing he does is to put Ada in a family way. By this time, Ada is pregnant for their third child, whom they eventually call Bubu, B-U-B-U. We also need to understand that Ada is pregnant but does not eat anything except for a boiled egg. And this is largely due to the fact that all of her salary, she invests it in taking care of the family, paying the house rent, as well as giving Francis money to take care of his academic expenses. So she goes to work on an empty stomach except for the boiled egg, and she doesn't take anything during lunch. By implication, when she starts feeling hungry, she takes a walk. Now on this day, she gets to work, and when the hunger pang starts to bite, she takes a walk during lunch hour. In the course of working, she has this premonition that something must have gone wrong with her children. So she begins to walk back to her place of work, getting to the front door of Finchley Library. She meets Cynthia, who tells her that Trudy has called, that there is an emergency and that she needs to be at Trudy's place as soon as possible. Mrs. Conrad, the chief librarian, offers to drop Ada off at Kentish Town Library. Ada walks from Kentish Town Station down to Trudy's place because it's just a walking distance. On getting to Trudy's place, she meets a crowd and realizes that Vicky is very ill. But nobody tells her what the problem is, even though she demands to know what the problem is. The doctor tells her that they cannot figure out what the problem is or say anything about whatever the problem may be until Vicky has been diagnosed. So an ambulance takes Vicky, Ada, and the doctor to the hospital. 3 days after, Vicky is diagnosed with a bacteria called meningitis. Trudy, in trying to defend herself, suggests that Vicky may have contracted the bacteria at home. In the fit of Ada's anger, Ada threatens Trudy. Ada threatens to kill Trudy if anything happens to Vicky. Miss Sterling, the children's officer, is phoned. She rushes down to Trudy's house, where she tells Ada that eventually they've been able to find a nursery place for Titi and Vicky. That Titi could start immediately, but Vicky can always start when he's out of the hospital. So chapter 6 is titled, Sorry, No Colors. In chapter 6, Ada and Francis are given a notice to quit by the landlord. And the reason why the landlord has taken this decision, the narrator tells us, for 3 major reasons. First, that Ada and Francis are Igbos. 2, that Ada refuses to do the kind of work, do the kind of job that other Nigerian wives living in that property do, that is working in a factory. Ada gets a job, of course, a first-class citizen's job as an assistant senior librarian. And number 3, the fact that Ada refuses to give out her children to a foster parent or parents. These 3 major reasons informs the reason why the landlord decides to give them a notice to quit. So Ada makes every effort to see how they can find another home. Francis is laid back about it, but to no avail. Eventually, when they find a place on Holly Street, they are rejected when the landlady or the owner of the property realizes that Ada and Francis are blacks. So the search for a house continues. So this is the summary of chapter 6. So I'll be asking a couple of questions regarding the events that happened, major events in chapter 5 and chapter 6. So the first question I will be asking is this: what is the name of Ada's colleague in Finchley Library? One of Ada's colleagues in Finchley Library. So the name of one of Ada's colleagues that is mentioned in Finchley Library is Cynthia. Number 2, mention any 2 reasons the landlord wanted Ada and her family out of their property. The reasons include, first, that Ada and Francis are Igbos. Number 2, Ada refuses to behave like a second-class citizen. She gets a first-class citizen's job. They are very uncomfortable with this. Number 3, Ada refuses to give out her children to a foster parent, just like every other Nigerian wife does when they come to England. Alright, so number 3 question is, what is the name of the street where the landlady rejected Ada? The name of the street where the landlady rejected Ada is Holly Street. Number 4, what is the name of the hospital where Vicky is taken to? The name of the hospital where Vicky is taken to is Royal Free Hospital. Royal Free Hospital. So thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please do remember to subscribe. If this content is not exactly for you because you're not a student writing WAEC or JAMB, please share this content with students whom you know will be writing these exams. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.